Alright, so I'm going to model to you how to write your name nice and neatly. Don't feel bad if you keep missing those points. I'm not going to... True or false question number 3, so I'm looking down here, has a greatest common factor. I look at this problem, I look at the coefficients, I look at the numbers in front. I have a 1, I have a 7, and I have a negative 18. None of those numbers have anything in common, so the answer is false. There is no greatest common factor. For question number 2, which expression is equivalent to 9x squared minus 16? So this is how I do the problem. You might have learned factoring differently. I'm going to put in a 0 there. There's my b value. I'm going to identify my a, b, and c. My a value is 9. My c value is negative 16. So a times c. 9 times negative 16 classes. And my b value down here is 0. I need to think of two numbers that will multiply to be negative 144 but add to be 0. That'll be positive 12 and a negative 12. I'm going to use my box now. In my box I'm going to have the 12x and the 12x. On the top left of the box I'm going to put my whole a term and my c term. I'm going to think of two things that multiply to be 9x squared. That would be 3x, 3x. 3x times something equals negative 12x, so that'll be a negative 4. 3x times something equals a positive 12x, so it'll be a positive 4. And negative 4 times positive 4 equals a negative 16. I need to find one that says 3x minus 4, 3x plus 4, and that's letter choice. A. This one they call a difference of squares. Question number 3. Factor the trinomial completely. If the polynomial cannot be factored, write the word prime. Same thing. A times c. So there's my a, b, and c value. Negative 18. B value is 7. Class, are there two numbers that multiply to be negative 18?
Negative 9, 2.
Okay, so if you pick 9 and 2, now you're going to have to put in positive negatives to equal 7.
Negative 9, negative 3.
Negative 2, right? So that equals negative, multiply to be negative 18, but adds to be a positive 7. Now you might ask, why do I do this box? Just keep doing it, and then you'll realize there's a trick. 9x, negative 2x, put x and x, positive 9, and this will be a negative 2. And you'll actually recognize that my answers are here. Do you see that? So I have x plus 9 and x minus 2. Question number 4. Here's the key word here. This one says solve. If you also recognize this problem's different because now it says equal to 0. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to factor it. A times c. B value. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 30, but add to be positive 1. 6 and 5. Which one is negative, class?
Negative 5.
Got my box to factor. There's many ways to factoring. I'm just showing you guys one method. I've seen Cal State Fullerton professors use this method. And now the question is, where do I put the 2x? To the left or to the top?
To the top.
I have to do it to the top. Because you can't have 2x times something equal negative 5. It would be a fraction. So I have 2x times here. I'm going to have to write 3. And x times a negative 5. And negative 5 times 3 equals negative 15. Now I take my two binomials. And now I'm going to apply the zero product rule. So x is going to be equal to 3. Add 5. Divided by 2. X equal to 5 halves. So that would be choice C. Now because I don't check your work on a multiple choice, yeah?
It's x plus 3. Not x minus 3.
On this side?
Yeah.
Oh, you were right. I rushed it. So that'll be choice A. What I wanted to say, yeah.
Can't you also use it for direct polling?
Yeah, so I was about to say is that on a multiple choice, even though I'm testing factoring, you are just solving a quadratic, so you could have done the quadratic formula. But if you don't do that on this side, because that's the free response. We're okay on that? Question number 5. A lot of you guys are asking me. A times C, my B value is -4. So that'll be -2 and -2. Put it into your box. X squared, 4, -2, -2. And you realize that they'll just be x minus 2, x minus 2. Now the question is, how do you write this? Raise your hand if you pick choice A. Raise your hand if you pick choice E. Now a lot of you guys were thinking about E, or somewhere like, can I just circle 2 of them? Okay, the best answer is going to be A. You might say, well, Mr. Ng, they're the same thing. Well, remember in math we went to factor completely or simplify. There are 2 of those expressions. You can note that by the exponent. Alright, I told you guys to turn that into 3x squared plus 2x minus 8. So I have A times C, -24. My B value, which is 2. 2 numbers that multiply to be -24.
6 and 4.
Which one is negative?
-4.
Now the temptation for a student is actually to pick these 2. You'll notice that x plus 6 and x minus 4 are not one of these. You're going to do the x in the box when A is greater than 1. Or if you don't realize that, then just keep doing the x in the box. So I have 3x squared. I have a -8. I have a 6x and -4x. Class, where should I place the 3, in the top or the left?
Top.
This will be a -4. And down here, this number will be a 2. 3x minus 4 and x plus 2, which would be choice D. So on that front page, go ahead and count up how many you got correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 12 points plus 2 points for writing your first and last name neatly. If you need someone to grade that, ask your partner, and then circle in the right period. So that's 3 more points. That page was out of 15. Question?
Remember 9 if you put C in the 1 point?
5 would be 0, because remember it's multiple choice. Backside? I have a power of 2, and I'm going to have to set this equal to 0. So I'm going to add these 2. Put 6x up here. I'm going to get x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. There you can factor. X plus 3, x plus 3. You have x plus 3 squared, but remember you're solving, so you're just setting each of those equal to 0. Would you have to do the same problem twice? No, they call that a double root. So your answer is x equals -3. The reason why you only do this answer once, the parabola touches the x-axis only once. That's why there's only one solution. They call it double root. I want to know that when you're solving it, like this, so just like I'm doing right here, I should see it on your paper. Remember, I'm not looking for work in your head, because we can't see that. We're looking for on the paper. 8a, classes, your C value, -16.
No.
What is it?
Positive 16.
Add 16 both sides. X squared minus 10x plus 16.
Equals 0.
And you're going to set it equal to 0 to solve, right? So x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. We already have our A value times C. Class, what's A times C?
16.
B value?
Negative 10.
Our two numbers?
Negative 8 and 2. Negative, negative.
Both negative. Factor it. X squared minus 8x minus 2x, 16. Those are x and x. This will be a negative 2. This will be a negative 8. Set each of those equal to 0. 0 product rule. And you'll get x equals 8 and x equals 2. Make sure to box your answers. For these problems, I'm probably looking for 2 points total if you got a set equal to 0. You'll get another point if you can factor it. So equal to 0. Third point if you factored it. And then you got a total of 4 points if you did all of these plus solved. For question 8a, each of those 1 point. Assuming you got the top part correct, you have it set equal to 0, 2 points. Third point that you factored it. And then the fourth point is you solved it. So you'll notice I'm giving you guys partial credit. That's why you want to show lots of work. Question number 9.
Okay.
For this problem, hopefully you did not divide by x. Big mistake if you did. I'm going to subtract 15x from both sides. 6x squared minus 15x equals 0. Take out a greatest common factor of 3x. I get 2x minus what? 5. There you have each of my terms. I can set equal to 0. And you're just finishing it up. X equals 0. 2x equals 5. X equals 5 halves. So what happens if you did, let me show you what happens if you do divide by x on both sides, why this is wrong. Let me make sure I make this obvious. Wrong. If you divide by x, you'll get left with 6x equals 15, and then divided by 6, you'll get x equals 5 halves. But you'll notice that this method only gives you how many solutions? Only one. You've actually missed the other one. So don't divide. And last problem, oh no, power of 3, oh my goodness. You want your leading coefficient to be positive, so I would elect to move all of this to the left side. You could move it to the right side, and you'll notice that basically the graph flips, and it's not important because all we're looking at is where it crosses the x-axis. So I'm going to move everything over to the left side. X to the third minus 2x squared minus 24x equals 0. So if you're learning factoring for the first time, you always want to find if there's a greatest common factor. Class, is there a greatest common factor there?
Yes.
What is it?
X.
X. So what do I get?
X squared minus 2x plus minus 24 equals 0.
Now when the student did ask me about do I have to do the x in the box, this does not work. Some of you guys can actually find the binomials in your head. That's fine. So I have, this will factor out to be what?
X minus, actually I'm not sure exactly how to do it that way.
What do you guys get?
Move the negative 2x squared to the other side.
So I get a 4 and a 6.
Yeah.
Which one has to be negative?
6.
And then now I'm just applying the zero product rule to each of those.
Wait, actually, it only assists a factor.
Oh,
We
that's
don't
right.
have to solve.
Good. Because I was not reading the directions. So here would be our answer. In red, not including the equals 0 because I thought we had to solve. If I ever do ask you to solve, but you leave it as this answer, that would be 3 out of 4 points. So I made the common student mistake because I made the mistake. So if it says solve, and you leave it there, that's 3 points. If you do what I just did, I say factor, but you give me x equals 0, negative 4, and 6, that's a 3 out of 4. Because you're confused about what you need to do. So that side has 4 free response. 1, 2, 3, 4. Set it equal to 0, give this 2 points. Show me the 0 product rule, 3 points. 0 product rule, setting each of those equal to 0. And solving would be your 4th point. Down here, getting it all to one side, 2 points. So one side. I'll give you another point for determining the greatest common factor. And the 4th point if you factored it. So that side was out of 16 points.
Mr. Ng?
Yep.
For number 8, what if we did quadratic formula?
I'll give you full credit, but I am really looking for, I should have said solve by factoring.
Okay. As long as we got the right answer.
So you have a total of 31 points. Go ahead next to your name. Reward yourself some points.
Mr. E,
Question?
isn't the backside out of 19 points?
You're right.
Oh.
19. So 3 more points. 34? Yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And for number 10, what if we